Test, test, test. Sweet. Looks like we're live. That's good. I have some stuff pulled up here. I'm going to send out a stream announcement, blab just a little, and then describe what we're doing and get into it. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so this stream, I guess I have this stream labeled board games, but that's kind of a lie because there's no actual board games happening in this stream, I don't think. But I plan to just blab a ton about WBC. Those were hanging out last night, kind of heard the plan. But yeah, I've just been having fun blabbing about WBC a bunch. I don't really know how many people are going to care about this stream or want to watch it, but hopefully some enjoy it. But yeah, basically, I'm going to just talk through a bunch of the WBC teams, and I'm basically streaming my process of trying to guess which teams are going to be the best. Talk about other WBC stuff and just kind of hang out and have fun. If anybody wanders into this on YouTube or otherwise, WBC is a board gaming convention. It's the World Board Game Championships. The world part is a little grandiose, much like the World Series. There's, a bunch of people in the U.S. and a handful of international players. That's kind of how WBC also is. But it is a premier tournament-based board gaming convention. I personally think it's the best board game convention focused on playing games, particularly in a tournament style. It pulls about 2,000-ish attendees, roughly, over the course of 9 days into kind of rural Pennsylvania. It's held in Seven Springs, which is a little over an hour outside of Pittsburgh. This year it is happening from July 20th to July 28th, so it's coming up in just a week. In fact, a week from today is when it begins. I will be in Pennsylvania participating at this exact, in an hour from, or like, loosely exactly a week from now, I will be playing in the Agricola tournament and doing a bunch of other fun gaming. I love the tournament, and they also have a lot of, I just love the convention, and they have a lot of other silly little kind of side events and contests and other stuff, and I love all of it. I really enjoy it. The website looks a little dated. They know that. They're working on it. But anyhow, we have only 6 days left for the bracket busting contest. This is kind of absurd to explain. I've gone through what WBC is. Next, I need to describe what teams are. You sign up teams at WBC. You can you need 4 people on a team, and each of your team members picks one game. And based on how well you do in that game, you might get points for your team. We'll cover the exact points in a second, but loosely, you assemble this team, and you are trying to, you're trying to put together like what game you think you're going to be good at. Your teammates make their guesses, and you hope to get the most points in the team tournament. And you win the silly team tournament, and it's cool. On top of that, we have a predictions contest about the teams at WBC. So you can predict which teams you think are going to be in the top 10 at the end of the week. And whoever does the best at their predictions wins free attendance to the next year. I have in the past won the predictions contest. I won in 2018 and had free attendance in 2019, which is pretty cool. And honestly, I think based on the reports, I think last year, there was less than 50 people that actually filled out an entry. So I mean, loosely, a 1 in 50 chance to win free attendance is pretty sweet. But anyhow, I admittedly take predictions a bit more seriously than many. I suspect many people just loosely look through this list, write down their, a couple of teams and go on their way. And that's a very reasonable thing to do. That's the more reasonable thing to do. But we are going to be unreasonable, and we are going to go way too deep in this stream discussing some of this team stuff. So that's what I'm basically going to loosely estimate what I think every player provides to their team, and we will rank all the teams, and then we'll still loosely discuss. With that said, on my yesterday's stream, I mentioned that there had been like no updates about this, but wildly, last night we did get some commentary from the happy handicapper himself. Stuart Tucker always does some statistical analysis and writes out some of his thoughts, and I do think his advice this year is pretty good. So kudos, Stuart. His advice every year is reasonable enough, but this year in particular, I agree with a lot of what he wrote. It's probably a bit hard to read for anybody else, but broadly, he does correctly identify that you need to pick a couple of the top teams that you think are actually going to be there, but you do also need to pick like some of the long shots that are going to make it. That's how you like actually win. And he is reaching down there a bit for some of the teams, and I think he's picking some good ones. I think Chaos Giants, I think Los Lobos Locos are good bets. I like that. I also have to give him huge kudos. I really enjoy his little quip here about my team, Terra Farmers. We have swapped in a Martin. Andrew Martin has joined our team, but he's playing Mars, and so the little Martin Martian thing, it really got to me. I enjoyed that. So, but yeah, the only other thing I will say about Team Tournament is, I'd like to bring up last year's teams. I did win last year's Team Tournament, it turned out, which that's pretty cool. So last year, whoops, no, I did want winners, team champs. I provided no points for my team in Terra Mystica, but my teammates carried us to the lead, and so Terra Farmers won last year. But yeah, sadly, Eric Roble had to be kicked off our team because he did not pre-register. This is a thing that we'll get into a bit later, but weirdly, if you're not pre-registered, you're not actually eligible to be on a team. And so some teams that would otherwise be very strong, this team looks like very good, except, two of their members are not actually eligible to earn points and are guaranteed to get zeros. That's unfortunate. I actually wish they would change the team tournament rules. I understand they want people to pre-register, but I don't really know why it's a problem. Like, if Michael Asante just doesn't show up to the convention and doesn't play an Arnak, well, they get a zero anyhow, but he is going to be at the convention and he's going to play, so why not let him be eligible? But I don't make the rules. I merely blab about them way too long. So, speaking of blabbing too long, we're 8 minutes in and we haven't done anything yet. I suspect this stream's going to be way too long, but hopefully somebody out there is enjoying it. Regardless, I'm going to enjoy it, and that's really the only reason I stream, so whatever. Okay, yeah, what do I want to do? Well, so I have already copied over everything that I want. I've copied over all of the team names, all of the players on those teams, and I intend to start entering my estimations. So, like, Bruce Rife, I don't actually know how to say that. Rife? I should really learn this. Bruce is at the convention always. He's definitely helps out a lot, helps run the auction. I don't actually know how to say his last name, now that I tried. Anyhow, Bruce is very good at football strategy. I'll go look it up in a sec, but, like, he might be worth 5. John Kusus is pretty good at Air Baron. Like, he's on average worth quite a bit. Kircher in Cities and Knights. We also have to, like, one of the slightly annoying things about WBC is they use codes for all their games, and so starting to learn the codes can be kind of annoying, but, like, Kircher at Cities and Knights is pretty good best. Then this, I don't think they've done anything in Castles of Burgundy, so, like, maybe it's not that strong. And then, we get an estimated points for them. I have my spreadsheet all set up to auto-populate these things already. Again, is this also absurd? Yes, and I already have my team ranking set to automatically sort all of the team rankings at the end. And so this will automatically give me my top 10 at the end once I'm done. However, there are 62 teams of 4 players each to estimate, so that's going to take a while. And again, should one do this, or should one just use the odds provided? Arguably, you should use the odds provided, but I'm going to do my own analysis and see where I wind up. The only thing I don't have are all the cool little team images, but we'll live. So Yeah, we need to start. We need to start looking up. We need to now start looking at the winners of various events and to actually get good estimates. So, like football strategy. Oh, I am on the wrong thing. This website is great at you click a thing and on certain pages it leads you to different spots. But whatever. We're not here to complain about the website. All right. How Bruce took second last year in football strategy. Oops. Okay. Other thing, actually, before we start doing this, we now need to talk about how the points are made. So, how the points are made is pretty important to how we're going to estimate everybody. The key thing to understand here is this team tournament point structure, which I'm just copying into this because this is the only thing we actually need. Admittedly, my spacing is off, but whatever. I don't care. I'm gonna have this on the side, I'm gonna have it like off screen, but I can see it. So, anyhow, basically, the size of your event partly determines how many points you get. If you're in a very large tournament, you get more points for doing well in the team tournament. This makes sense, right? If you're in a two-person tournament, easy to get points. So even if you're in like a 18-person tournament, your chances like 1 in 18 chance of winning, right? Compared to a 1 in 100 something chance. So I think the team tournament schedule is reasonable enough. It does its job. But so like football strategy, for example, is at most giving out like 7 points. It's not going to reach 32 players. You also get a bonus point if you win an event for the first time. So that's only for first place, but if you have never won the event before, you're eligible to get a bonus point if you win the event, which can be important. Generally, winning the team tournament involves having 2 of your team members win their event and then maybe have some extra points. Last year, a lot of people struggled to call their shots, though, and our team won on the back of just having 2 winners, but there was very few other teams that actually did that well, even. Some years it does take even more, but anyhow, the basic idea is that more people means you're eligible for slightly more points, and also the team tournament schedule highly rewards you for being first and only gives a few points for seconds, third, fourths, so on. Although, again, if you're in a bigger event, you actually pick up kind of meaningful points for the other places. Whereas if you're in a smaller event, 1 or 2 points is less likely to matter. But it depends. So anyhow, after all that blabbing, we go back and we look and we're like, oh wait, Bruce like wins football strategy like every other year, and even in the years he doesn't win, he's often placing, right? Like he took second last year. He was actually shut out in 2019, apparently. 2018, he took second. So if we think he's roughly going to win half of the years and the other half the time he puts up second, that is something like a 4.5 expected points for his team. So I guess that's what we're going to do. We're going to say Bruce is 4.5. All right. As long as we're on the football strategy page, I intend to not have to go back all the time. So who else is competing football strategy? Jason Schultz. Jason Schultz has no football strategy laurels. Nope, there it is. He does have football strategy laurels. He got some last year. So I mean, he at least plays and he has a chance, but historically not very promising. So I'm gonna claim just 1 point for that. All right. That's football strategy, and now I intend to go all the way back up, and we delete these. All right, Air Baron, John. So John is pretty good at Air Baron. I believe he has a lot of laurels in Air Baron. Indeed, John has the most laurels in Air Baron, so he is pretty consistent at getting laurels, but he's not super consistent at winning the event. He has won the event several times, but it looks like he wins like maybe once every 6-7 years. Let's go look at the last couple of years. Where is he? How has John been doing? Air Baron does pull into that 32 plus area, so it is worth slightly more points at least. But looks like John got shut out in 1 year. John got second in 2022, got third in 2023. Okay, so it looks like kind of a spread. It looks like John is, he might win, but on an average year, he's probably only gonna put up 0 or 1 or even 2 points. So I'm gonna give John a 2, roughly on average. All right. Anybody else for Air Baron now? Any other Air Baron people? We do have another Air Baron, Bruce Bernard. I had the pleasure of playing with Brandon Bernard. I'm assuming Bruce is going to be his dad. Does look like Bruce has occasionally done well and has won the event, former champion, and he has gotten laurels occasionally. Looks like slightly less likely than John, but looks like he has a reasonable chance. I don't know exactly what to give him, but let's go 1.5. He's a former champion. He has a shot, so let's average out to that. Okay. All right, now Rob in, I believe that's Catan Cities and Knights is C and K. Yeah, Catan Cities and Knights. All right. Rob Kircher is very good at a lot of games. Rob is a former champion in Cities and Knights. Looks like he took laurels in 2022. But that means he did not take laurels in 2023. The event has not... He did take third in 2018. So, I mean, he's gone first, third, fourth, and missed over the last, 4 years. So, first, third, fourth, and a miss. If we average that out for a 32-person event, 32-plus event, that's like an average of 2.5 to 3. I'll give Rob a 3. I mean, again, this is a slightly imprecise science here. 3 is probably a bit high, actually. If I'm doing halves, 2.5 is probably the average here. Again, this is loose estimation, but and then check if anybody else is doing Cities and Knights. Oh, we do have another Cities and Knights. Jim McFarland. Where you at, Jim? Does not look like Jim is a former champion of Cities and Knights, but has had some success in the past. So we at least have some laurels there. I'm going to go 1.5. Maybe just a 1. I don't know. Whatever. The half is unlikely to matter much. And then John... I don't see them at all. All right. So people... I don't know this person by name, and they're not a former lore list of this event, so, I mean, I'm going to just go generically 1. This is the hardest part about estimating teams, is you get some people that are brand new or that have been playing a game a bunch and you just don't know them, but they could show up and be very good. It's actually a little bit of how I won the bracket busting contest the year I won. If we go back to 2018, 2018 was actually the first year that I went to WBC. So nobody really knew who I was, but I knew I was pretty good at Terra Mystica, and so I showed up and won the Terra Mystica event, but that's very hard for the handicap or anybody else to know about. But it did push my team up into the top 10, and I bet on that, and that's how I bet on my own team, and I got my free membership that year. So anyhow, it's a little bit of self-congratulations plus looping in. It's super hard to handicap people that you don't know anything about, because on average, I think a lot of the people that you don't know and are new are not going to do anything, but a couple of them are. So what's the average value? Is average value even the right thing I should be looking for here, right? There's some methodology discussion, and like we're trying to predict not really the average result necessarily. We're trying to guess who's going to be in the top 10. Being in the top 10 again involves winning some events though, so I think betting on players that have a history of doing well at an event and or winning an event in the past is most of my philosophy here. And I think there are enough people that are betting on games that they've won in the past or are likely to be competitive in again that will find that that works reasonably well. Again, in order to keep this stream. Oh dang, you're late. You are a bit late, but also we're not even done with ranking one team, and we're 20 minutes in. Now, I've blabbed a lot about some of my thoughts, methodology, WBC in general, history, but yeah, we're not moving that fast. But we're moving, sort of. Anyhow, on to Castles of Burgundy. Yeah, that's my plan here is loosely. I am estimating roughly what I think everybody's like average contribution is to their team. By their historical performance in those games, mostly. Now, again, it gets tricky because like my historical performance in Beyond the Sun is nada, but my historical performance in the team tournament is meaningful, and we'll eventually have to discuss that. But I obviously don't recognize a ton of these names. Now, I do slightly recognize Vasili's name, but to be honest, I don't know what they're good at. And I don't know that it's Castles of Burgundy. Yeah, see, this does not look promising. So, like, this is where I kind of disagree with the Happy Handicapper. This is his top-ranked team, but, like, I don't have a lot of faith that in an event that has quite a bit of history and a lot of very strong players competing, like, you have freaking Alan Jang, Ray Wolf, Dominic, Steve LeWinter, Michael Swinson, Rob Effinger, Keith, Dan, Eric. Like, these are some of the top players at WBC, and they compete in Castles of Burgundy against each other and do well. And yet, I'm being asked to trust/believe somebody who has no history in this event is going to show up and do well. I say no. I'm gonna honestly go as low as like a half a point here. I just don't think there's much value. His baton ratings are super auto-correlated. There's gonna be a lot of custom analysis. Yeah. I mean, to be clear, his baton ratings, I agree. Like, I agree that he gives too much value to players who have been put onto strong teams in the past. I sort of understand the thought process in that people who are pretty good at games are generally going to pick other players that help boost them. Like, there must be some value there. But I have a lot less faith in that correlation than I think he does. With that said, look, he made a whole statistical system and does some analysis, so kudos to him. Like, I am not in any way trying to suggest that I don't appreciate somebody doing a bunch of silly nonsense on the side, because I'm about to do a bunch of silly nonsense on the side, and I really enjoy it. And I enjoy somebody else putting their attempt out there. I just think their attempt is slightly flawed, but. So anyhow, yeah, I don't have very high belief in I don't have very high belief here based on the history of Castles of Burgundy, and I think that it will likely pull the boys of BeachCon or Beachin out of my top 10. I doubt they're going to make it there. Bruce is one of the better bets of, like, I don't think there's going to be a ton of people that I'm going to give a 4.5 or higher to. Like, that's great, but the rest of the team I think is fine, but I think it's kind of average. So if you hypothetically dug up your bracket submission last year and it actually has 4 in the top 10 where the site says that you lost the tiebreaker 3, what should I hypothetically do? I think it's too late, but for what it's worth, I also pulled up my bracket submission from last year as soon as it was announced. Actually, is it too late? It was only announced like a month ago, right? I guess you could argue. I mean, it's kind of too late, like whatever, but also I guess it was only announced. I also looked at my bracket submission from last year as soon as it was announced, and I am not listed as somebody who had 3 in the top 10, right? We had, yeah, we have only 3 people listed as claiming that they did it. However, I guess I don't want everybody to see all my mail, so let's pull that off to the side. But I will find my submission. Sent items look basically a year ago in my sent items folder because it's on the same timeline. So like I'm looking for an email roughly July 10th to the convention director. And bracket busting contests entry. Look at that. There's my sent item. All right, I had predicted the Chaos Magians to win. That did not work out. I predicted Harry B's in the top 10. That did not work out. I predicted Timeless in the top 10. That did not work out. That did not work out. I predicted We Ain't Dead Yet. That did not work out. I predicted Deadline Crew. Correct. 1 correct pick. I picked Terrafarmers. Also correct pick. Nest of Spies did not work. MIT SGS did not work. Part of My French did not work. Local Yokels, hey, there you are. Correct. That is 3 correct picks. 3, count them 3. And yeah, I'm not listed. So I agree that clearly something is probably slightly awry. But anyhow, what you should do about it, what I should do about it, what anybody should do about it, I don't know. Again, it's a silly side competition. I mean, if you want to, you could ask. I mean, it can't hurt to ask, I guess. Maybe you get a free entry along with whoever was announced as the winner. I don't know. Okay. Anyhow, yeah, we've got so far. All right, who else is betting on Castle de Burgundy? Mike Munson is betting on Castle de Burgundy. Mike Munson, also, I don't, did your name show up on this page? Mike Munson did take a 5th place in 2022. So, I mean, at least he has laurels in the event and has proven that he can be reasonably competitive. I will give him a 1. But, again, only a 5th place. Well, although Castle of Burgundy is a big event, right? Well, not even, I was going to say, it doesn't even necessarily hit 64 people. I was about to say, if it reaches the 64 plus level, like, those points for being in 3rd, 4th, or 5th, or 6th are a bit more meaningful, and I actually would maybe raise my estimate a bit. But, it doesn't, it looks like it's just under the 64 person mark a lot of the time, so we're gonna stick with that. We're gonna stick with that. All right, next team we have Bruce Beard, 18XX. I think Bruce Beard is basically the best bet in the team tournament outside of James Pay as like the individual most likely to get laurels. If you are not familiar about Bruce Beard's legendary streak at 18XX, prepare to be a little bit afraid when you click on this page and are like, oh my god, the dude wins every year. Except not actually every year. He's faltered twice since 2005. But this laurel chart is insane. Bruce Beard has almost 900 laurels, and the next closest is 200. Bruce Beard utterly dominates 18XX, even though the tournament has 50-plus participants. So we look at my handy-dandy chart here, and it's like Bruce is like 90% likely to get 8 points, and otherwise is going to pick up a couple of pity points. So Bruce is like an 8.5 on average. Oh, sorry, 8 is his max. He's like a 7.5 on average. Like, it's utterly insane. Utterly insane. Now, unfortunately for the Harry B's, last year was a year Bruce actually faltered along with the rest of them. But anyhow, yeah, it's ludicrous how good that dude is. All right, who else is betting on 18XX, though? We have a Chris somebody. I don't know how to say that last name, and I don't recognize it, but I also don't really know the 18XX crowd. I don't see it, though. Chris R.E. All right, I don't think they're on this list at all, though. And the 18XX event is very hard to do well in. So, I mean, I'm going to go half a point. I'm going to give everybody half a point at least, because again, if you're betting on the game, I assume you at least have some like love or care for it and you have a shot. But if I can't find any evidence that historically, I don't know, it's hard. This is where my personal knowledge could be letting me down too. I mean, this person maybe is very good at a bunch of other events, but I will admit I read a ton of the event reports, so I kind of know I kind of recognize a lot of names who I see doing well at a bunch of events. So even if they don't show up on a chart, I kind of know also to be to possibly raise them up a bit. Not that I'm not trying to like knock anybody at all, by the way. Like, it's hard to win events at WBC. We all go and we're here to have fun. But in terms of trying to do the best in this, I'm gonna follow the data where it leads me. And some people are going to prove me wrong. Absolutely. I'm going to look foolish when, somebody shows up and we have a new 18xx champ from nowhere. But anyhow, Francois is a very strong gamer, and Francois is reasonably good at 18xx, but also 18xx is super hard to win, as I just covered, because Bruce is so good and so dominant. So while I think Francois is a strong player, I think his chance of winning the XX tournament is 10% or less. So I think his average contribution here is like 1, maybe 1.5. I'll go 1.5, but I don't think there's a lot of value there. Did I miss somebody? Oh yeah, I did miss somebody. All right, John McCarthy. All right, John, do you have any laurels in this event? I don't know that we have any laurels in this event. Doesn't look like it. All right, we talked about what we do. Half a point. All right. All right. Now, Harry in March Madness. So this is another sports game, much like Football Strategy. It has a relatively small crowd, and I believe Harry is relatively good. Not anywhere near as dominant as Bruce, but also Harry is pretty good at this event. Whoops, I clicked Merchant of Venus. I am like, that is a very different list than I was expecting to see. March Madness, there we are. Harry won last year. Harry... Okay, Harry actually doesn't have as much of a history here as I thought. He has won the play by email in the past. The event does pull a pretty good number of players, though. It's more than I thought. And he has quite a few laurels. So, a pretty good bet for sure, but not incredible. So, I'm going to give him, like, let's claim roughly like a 1 in 5 chance of winning the event, which would give him 8 points, and then some percentage of getting the other places. So, like a 20% chance at 8 points. It gets you around 2 points plus some extra value on the others, like roughly a 2.5. Let's go roughly a 2.5. All right. Why are you centered? Do I need... I don't... It doesn't matter. Whatever. All right. Whoops. No, we need to look for the other... Oh, no. Nope. Don't do this. We're done. All right. We need to look for the other March Madness players. All right. Who else do we got competing in March Madness? We have Dennis Nicholson. Dennis Nicholson also has quite a few laurels in March Madness. A bit less than Harry, and it looks like he's not... Dennis hasn't placed in a few years, but has Dennis ever won? Yes, Dennis has won way in the past too. He is a past champion. I mean, that's quite a few laurels, although the event has a lot of history and a lot of play-by-email history. I'll give Dennis 2 points. I mean, former champion and has quite a few laurels in the event. It's hard to... Again, I'm not gonna... I need to somewhat move or get moving on this stream, or it's gonna go way too long. So, all right, Bruce in WAS. It's gonna be one of the war games, and I honestly don't know what. Washington, something Washington? No, it's not Washington's war. It's War at Sea. Ah, see, War at Sea. All right, Bruce certainly has won the event multiple times. Inaugural champion even way back in 91. That's pretty cool. These events that have all this history are really cool to me. So Bruce has won multiple times. He has a lot of laurels. Probably has done well in some of the play-by emails for all I know. Probably also will just go about 2 points here. Looks like the event might not hit 32 players, although it traditionally has hit 32 players. And Bruce has a pretty good shot. Honestly, this is maybe a 2.5 point situation again. Like, former champ, wins reasonably often, has good laurels. I mean, are you analyzing 250 individual EVs this stream? Because it kind of looks like I'm trying to. Oh, I am. I loosely am. Now, to be clear, I think for a lot of the players, it's going to be a lot faster because they don't actually have a history, and then I'm just slamming half a point. But yeah, am I actually going to get this done in this stream? I don't know. I don't really trust myself in almost anything. All right. Cool. That's the only person going for War at Sea, so we get to talk about Empire Builder. Ken is a former console winner at WBC and is our current convention director. He's a pretty strong player, and I think he's pretty good at Empire Builder. But Empire Builder is a pretty competitive field. So, like, Ken is a former champion. However, we see that Ken has only won maybe once. He does have a lot of laurels in the event, though. Although he last got laurels a couple years ago. So this is where, like, it's a bit tough. I'm going to go, like, 1.5. I mean, he's won before and he picks up laurels, but the events might not hit 64 players. So if you're not winning, you're only going to get, like, 2, 3, or 4 points. And it doesn't even look like we pick up those points at a super reliable clip. But could easily be wrong. The other, like, slightly unfortunate thing for Ken is I think he does get to play Empire Builder, and I think he often gets to play the events that he wants to, but I also know, like, unfortunately, he does run the convention, and so I think if crazy things happen, he does have to miss certain stuff, too. So, hopefully, it's not the case, but... Alright, any other Empire Builders? I suspect there are. Empire Builder. Who else is playing? Eric. Eric is a great guy. Eric also very good at Empire Builder. Also, doesn't have laurels the last couple years, but he has won the event in the past. He's pretty good. I'm gonna just go Ken level here, 1.5. Like, they look basically the same to me. They occasionally pick up some laurels. They've both won its points, but it's a highly competitive event. So I only know a little bit about Empire Builder, but I also think it is a slightly variance event. Like, it's pretty competitive. I mean, there's definitely meaningful skill, but I also think there's meaningful variance. Like, I think it's hard to consistently repeat, which is all the more impressive that Trella was 3 years in a row a winner. But all right, Bart also picks up quite a few laurels in this event. Also has won in the past, multiple-time champion actually. But I mean, really, honestly, Bart, Ken, and Eric all look at a quick glance roughly the same to me, so I'm just going to give them all 1.5s. Maybe they should be 2s, but whatever. Again, I don't really think we're missing anything. I don't think we're going to be significantly have problems about half of a point. We're trying to get a good... what we're really trying to do is we're trying to find the Bruces that are going to very consistently put up big points. I think those are the teams that are more likely. And then the only other thing we're really trying to do are find the teams that have a reasonable shot of being in the top 10 that are undervalued by our happy handicapper, because that's how we'll actually win the bracket busting competition. All right, Arc Nova, Randy Bueller. So Randy is stupidly good at games, but the Arc Nova field is big, although it's inexperienced, and Randy has been playing a lot. Yeah, it's only the second year. I know Randy's been practicing it a lot. He's won a lot. This is one of those events where, like, we can't really rely on the event history because there's only been 1 year. And we can rely on the history of Randy is just very good at the games that he picks to study. But it is also an event that has a lot of people playing a lot and being pretty competitive. So, and it doesn't quite hit the 128 mark necessarily. I mean, it might. But so, like, let's say Randy has a 10% chance of winning this year. Maybe it's higher. Maybe it's even 20%. He has a 20% chance of getting 10 points. and then some other chance of getting some other numbers, that's like 2.5 to 3 expected value. I'll respect our multiple time console and Caesar and give him a 3 for that. Shadow is whoops, no, we need to do the rest of Arc Nova. Sorry. Rest of Arc Nova. There are definitely a good number of people calling their shot in Arc Nova. 7 of them, in fact. Nick Henning is calling a shot in Arc Nova. Nick Henning took second last year. Nick Henning is also stupidly good at games. Given that Nick has placed last year, I'm going to give Nick slightly more value than Randy. I'd give it a 3.5. I don't know if that actually makes enough sense or is fair, but Nick is the reigning console. He had the best WBC ever by Laurel count last year. So I'm not super interested in betting against Nick. I'm not really interested in betting against Randy on average either, but all right. Alex Bove, pretty good gamer, calling his shot at Arc Nova, but Alex does not have history in this event. Again, there's very little history. Alex, I believe, is also a former console, or Caesar, one of the two, whatever. And also is reasonably good at games. I'm gonna go 2.5 here, though. I'm gonna trust Randy slightly more than Alex, but all of those guys have shots. Aaron Birnbaum, I recognize the name, but I don't. They didn't do last year. I don't honestly know on average how well here. I'm going to go 1.5. There are just a lot of points floating around in Arc Nova, given that it's going to be a big field, but also, it's a big field. It's really hard to win. 1.5 might be too high, but I just kind of recognize the name, which suggests to me that they float around certain event reports and do well. Andrew Freeman won last year. He's quite good at the game. But again, I think it's just a wildly hard field. And this is also a really hard one because Andrew's relatively young. And so, I don't know how much it's so hard to judge these players because they don't really have a lot of history at WBC in general to rely on. And whatever history they do have, it's well, how much do we rely on what they were doing when they were 14 compared to now, what age are they and how much better are they at games? They're the reigning champ in Arc Nova. I give them a 2. I don't know. Again, this is hard. There's so many people competing in Arc Nova. Looking at how many people are competing in Arc Nova, I actually think I probably should lower everybody's points a bit. If this many people are calling their shot at Arc Nova, they can't all win. Randy Williams, I recognize from, I think, Terra Mystic AI Project stuff. Pretty strong gamer, but again, this competition in Arc Nova looks crazy. So I'm going to go 1. Slightly above, yeah, I don't know. Maybe even half is correct. I don't recognize this player's name at all, unfortunately, and there's no history in this event, so I'm going to go to my default half if I know nothing. I was probably too generous there in Arc Nova, given how much competition there is, but so be it. The Arc Nova points are probably a little overestimated. All right, Shadow and Agricola. Agricola field is stupidly hard. Shadow is arguably the best player in the field. Although, best player in the field is a huge argument nowadays. The field in Agricola just scares me way too much. It's absolutely ludicrous. So as good as Shadow is at games, and as good as Shadow is at Agricola, I'm going to give him 1.5. And that might be too low, but I honestly don't think it is. As good as Shadow is at Agricola, I think the Agricola field has 10 master level players. There are 10 people that are stupidly good at the game. And that means, at best, any one of them has a 10% shot, and it's got to be a little worse than that, because other people have a legit shot too. And Agricola is not reaching 64 players, probably. So Shadow has a 10% chance of getting 8 points, and then some percent at picking up some other points. 1.5 might be too generous, but I don't trust the Agricola. I trust the Agricola field is way too competitive to give many points. Sid is also very good at Agricola, but unfortunately he is not eligible for points because he's not pre-registered. Even if he was, again, I'm going to give him 1.5. I'm going to give him what I'm giving Shadow. The field is just too dumb good. Reed Barkel. Okay, so this is interesting. I see the Strategicon name all of a sudden, and Strategicon names suggest to me that these are a bunch of West Coast folks that tend to play at one of the West Coast's better known board game tournament events. So these players could be better than I think, actually. And I could be undervaluing this. If I really have the time, I should go look up Strategicon results and get a sense. But the Agricola field is stupidly hard. So I don't know your name. You're getting a half. I can't in good conscience bet Tim 2. I'm sorry. Agricola is a great game. Good luck. But the field is so hard in Agricola. This is where my personal knowledge of the Agricola field is either helping me put the correct valuations here, or it's like making me bet a little too low on people that might show up and do really well. But I do not have an interest today in betting anything significant on the Agricola field. All right, Andrew Emmerich, Concordia. Andrew is very good at games, also a former console, but the Concordia field is reasonably competitive. I knocked Andrew out of Concordia last year, but Andrew is a former champ in Concordia and has multiple times in the BPA events proven his ability. He is the lifetime Laurel leader. It's hard to bet against him then, isn't it? Bet against him is the wrong term, but he's worth a good number of points here. Concordia also looks like it often is going to hit the 64 mark, so like if I want to give Andrew roughly a 1 in 4 chance of winning the event, plus whatever other numbers he can pick up, that means that I'm giving Andrew like a 3 here. It's pretty good. I'm going to give Andrew a 3 also. All right, Concordia. Who else is going for it? Sam Wolf is going for Concordia. Sam Wolf took second place in Concordia last year. I believe he placed in 2022. Yeah, so Sam is back-to-back second place in Concordia. Sam Wolf's also just a very good gamer in general. I think he has pretty good odds in Concordia, honestly. I'm going to go 2.5 here. Back-to-back second places is pretty impressive. And he also has just a very long history of doing well in events. So Craig Reese is next. Wow, that guy seems pretty cool. Yeah, that guy does seem pretty cool. That guy is pretty cool for what it's worth. I always enjoy playing games. One of my highlights of my very first year at WBC was playing a semifinal Orleans game against Sam Wolf. It was just very enjoyable. So my other highlight from my first year at WBC actually was getting crushed by Sam Wolf in the very first heat. I showed up and played Agricola. Here's this plucky, fairly young kid, and I'm like, this will be fine. But then I'm also at the table with Ben Schall, and I lose to both Ben Schall and Sam Wolf, and I'm like, oh, okay, no, this WBC thing's legit. They're good players. Like, I was only okay at Agricola, and I got my butt handed to me by a 11-year-old, 12-year-old, I don't know, along with Ben, who's just very good. So yeah, it was very enjoyable. But yeah. You've missed so much blabbing. Oh, there's so much more to come. Don't worry, Gonzo. What is my best game in terms of laurels? It's Acquire. Seems like a bit of a scrub to not bet on Wingspan, though. I know, Sam Wolf betting on Concordia instead of Wingspan. Yeah. If I had to guess, he'd be a master at Wingspan, but not confident enough with so many people. Yes. And so Sam is going for the Concordia field instead. I think that's reasonable. You have back-to-back seconds in Concordia. Like, I think it's pretty reasonable to pick Concordia instead of Wingspan, but again, this is why the team tournament's slightly so silly and so fun and so like whatever is like you have to call your shot, and that's not easy. Anyhow, speaking of Craig Reese and Concordia, right? I need to estimate this. I don't see Craig's name. I don't see Craig's name in a pretty competitive field. That's a big old half a point. Sorry. Chris Bizzle. So Chris Bizzle he has only shown up to the last 2 conventions. He's a pretty strong gamer. He has, I believe, a 4th place and a 3rd place in Concordia. So, you know, that suggests that Chris is due for 2nd place in Concordia this year, which would be worth 3 points. Or is it worth? No, it's worth 4 if it pulls enough people. However, back-to-back finals appearances is pretty good, and definitely proves he has the ability to win. I'm gonna go 2 points. That might be a little high, but Chris is a good friend. I don't wanna bet. I don't really like. I think it's also reasonable to give a guy that has consecutive final appearances a decent number of points at the game. So, all right, Steve Lewitter and Scythe. Steve Lewitter and Scythe is a great bet. The Scythe field is pretty reliable, I believe. I believe pretty reliable in that the same people win Scythe year to year, for the most part, or are at the final table. I mean, yeah, Chris won 3 years in a row. Steve, I believe, has been at the finals many times. There's 3 or 4 people here that look like they kind of consistently trade laurels in places. So, I mean, former champion wins laurels most years, but the event is not even pulling 32 players anymore. Okay, the event not pulling 32 players is actually a big problem because now Steve basically needs to win, otherwise, like, you're not getting many points at all. So that actually is going to pull my... That might be worth... That's probably only worth like 2.5 average, even though he's very good at Scythe. There's just very few points in the Scythe tournament to go around. Also, with this Lumen guy who got second place next year, seems hard to win in Wingspan with such tight competition. Lumen has scared you off of Wingspan, coward. No, look, I wouldn't bet on Wingspan either. I think betting on Concordia makes a lot of sense. All right, Chris Wilds at Scythe. Well, okay, we just said the same. Like everything I said about Steve applies to Chris, but possibly slightly more. However, again, the other thing to point out is the plummeting attendance in Scythe and the fact that they might be fighting for only 7 points. The other thing I guess that we should mention is, again, this is where I know a bit about Scythe, but they've switched to using the modular map, so I don't know how much that shifts up the strategy some of these people have been employing, but I suspect it messes with them a little. I arguably should give Chris more points than I gave Steve, but am I? Did I give Steve only 2? I don't know. Whatever. Chris is going to get 2.5. Chris is stupidly good at games also. Now, I gave 2.5 to both. That seems fine. The Scythe field just... They're both basically fighting for first. There's not a lot of points otherwise, so... Okay, speaking of one of the better bets in the tournament, James Pay for the people. Again, if you are not familiar with James Pay... get welcome for the... Oh, look at that insane list. James Pay, since 1999, has allowed 1, 2, 3 years to go to somebody else, and Randy also is probably not playing for the people anymore. James Pay has, 1,200 some laurels against the second place 400? Okay, yeah. So these 7 points are going to James Pay, 80-some% of the time, and otherwise he's picking up second or third. So James Pay is worth like 6.5. We'll go 6.5. I don't know. That's probably too high. That's probably too high. There is a risk he doesn't win. So I mean, 6.5 is pretty wild. We'll go 6, but still wildly consistent and wildly good. Anybody else even daring to bet on For the People? Nope. Is that surprising? No. I also would not bet on beating James Pay at For the People. All right, Chris Bird. HRC, Hannibal something? What is HRC? Hannibal Rome versus Carthage. Yes, I am correct. Okay. Chris Bird. Where are you at? Chris Bird. A lot of laurels in this event, but this event has been going on for a long time. Chris Bird has won the event in the past, but not recently. But Chris Bird has picked up laurels very recently, including in 2023. Chris Bird got 6th. Okay, so this one's a bit tricky. So they are also in the 32. They're struggling to make that cutoff for 32 people or more. So Chris Bird is like maybe 10% likely to win, and some percent picking up second, third, or fourth. But that averages out to like 1.5. So even though he has a lot of laurels in this event, I don't think there's... I don't know that there's a lot of hope there, but definitely could win. I mean, look, again, this is where the way I'm estimating is maybe wrong, because, like, again, if we're truly trying to pick who's winning, we just really care if the people have a reasonable shot at winning their event. That's what actually matters. And so, like, giving somebody a 1.5 because they might be picking up, like, third or fourth place laurels or, like, points doesn't matter nearly as much as just, like, how likely is it that they win the event. But, I mean, this number is loosely also helping us estimate how likely people are to win their event, so I think it's going to be good enough. But if I wanted to go even further, we could do multiple analysis. All right, let's see. All right, Randall. Randall, are you on this page? Randall. Oh, there you are. I somehow skipped over your name. All right, Randall also has done pretty well, including recently. But not there. Got 4th last year. I'm going to go only 1 point. It doesn't look like they've been a champion or also have not been a champion for quite a while. So, doesn't seem like a particularly great bet. And then Nathan Wagner. Nathan Wagner, where are you at? There you are. Nathan Wagner also picked up laurels in 2023, so a lot of people are hoping to repeat. Nathan did repeat, so he got 5th place, and the year prior got 6th place. Now, unfortunately, again, the size of the event the last 2 years means that picking up 5th or 6th place still gives 0 points. So, I mean, I'll give 1 because, like, getting 5th or 6th still does indicate you have a shot at winning, but it doesn't look great. Okay. We're nearly an hour in, and I've rated how many people on this sheet out of how many I need to. Let's not worry about it yet. But it's a little bit problematic. All right. WWR. I don't know what WWR is. Wilderness War. No, Wilderness War is WNW. WWR. Washington's War. There we go. All right, Washington's War. Dan Leader. Where are you at? Dan Leader has definitely placed, has some good laurels, has won in the past, but the event's in danger of falling under the 16-person mark. I'll give Dan 2 points. Yeah, let's give Dan 2 points on average there. All right, any other Washington's War players? Ooh, there are. Bill. All right. Bill has placed. Bill has been a champion in the past. Looks like a little less. Well, basically Dan. Well, Dan has way more laurels, but again, this is where it's hard to know how many years each of them have played. I'll give Bill a 1.5. Definitely has a shot. And then Michael Mitchell. Michael Mitchell is up there, but hasn't placed since 2016. I mean, he has laurels in the event. We'll give him 1, but this James Pay guy is a problem. I mean, a problem for my respective Wargamers' overall skills. Hey, Lewin, let's not be too harsh. But with that said, I will admit the fact that Randy like really studied the game, came in and was able to beat him. Although Randy said that he still got kind of lucky to beat James, right? So like, if we put James versus Randy and play that game, how many times does Randy win? I think like maybe 2 out of 10. Like, so James is clearly very good at the game, but also, yeah, I don't know. Like, you'd think there'd be slightly more competition because like, if James ran into people on the way up to the finals too, like even if I think James has an 80% chance to win the finals, like what? That's still a 90% chance in the semis, a 90-some% chance in the quarters. Like you add that up, and you still should not be winning the event at the clip he is then. But anyhow, Wayne Gretzky doesn't impact your view of NHL players negatively. Yeah, that's fair. I think Lewin's slightly onto something in that I do think for the people field is maybe I don't. See, I don't. I can't really say shit though. Like, if I tried to learn For the People, how would I fare? I think poorly. I think there are enough good For the People players. I think James Pay is very good at For the People. Like, very, very good at the games he plays. And to be clear, yeah, historically that bears out as you're seeing because yeah, James Pay shows up on multiple freaking pages, and he is. I believe James Pay is the all-time leading laurelist in BPA history. I'd be pretty shocked if that's not the case. Not that lifetime laurels are updated anymore, not that the pages even exist in ways where I know how to access them anymore. I at one point did. At one point they existed. James Pay, #1 by a mile in lifetime laurels. Although again, last updated 2017, but nobody's surpassed him since. Nobody's caught up to him. For sure. Okay, anyhow, I got way laid by like half talking about Lumen's comment, but anyhow. All right, Tom Cannon DNI. DENI. Dune Imperium? This is going to help me learn some of these codes that I don't know yet. Dune Imperium. So the Dune Imperium field is young, but getting pretty competitive pretty fast. Tom Cannon is a reasonably good gamer for my... Like, I believe he's reasonably strong at things, but the event is wildly hard, so like I'll give him 1 instead of my generic half a point, but yeah, I don't have high hopes there. All right, who else is competing? Jack Wolf. Jack Wolf is our 2-time champion at Dune Imperium. That seems like a good bet. The Dune Imperium field is over that 64 threshold, so if I think Jack has even a 25% chance of repeating along with like getting some laurels, I think Jack is like 3.5 to 4. I don't know. Repeating it seems hard to me, but I don't know Dune Imperium well enough to like feel how confident I should be about the ability to repeat against a lot of reasonably strong players. I'll go 4. I mean, back-to-back champion. Like, I don't really want to bet against that. And again, the field is big, so like even if you get 2nd place or 3rd place, you're getting meaningful team points. So, and also very few people are calling their shot at Dune Imperium. Like, Dune Imperium's relatively new still, also, but 7 people are competing in Arc Nova. Only 2 are trying to fight the Dune Imperium crown, so I think this is fine. If you're lucky, you're not going to waylay me further. Laurel's not updated in however many years. It's fine. You have ammo. I mean, look. People can waylay me easily. I have no idea how far I'm actually going to get in this stream, but we'll see. All right, CAR. What the heck is CAR? I honestly can't think of... Carcassonne. Duh, that makes sense. Carcassonne. Good old Carcassonne. Jonathan Jamel, I believe, has some Carcassonne laurels. I thought. There we are. Okay, admittedly, doesn't have laurels since 2014. I mean, the upshot is the field is big, so if you do win, you get a lot of laurels. But people do not repeat very often in Carcassonne because we play 4-player, and I think that's hard for people to consistently do well. And Jonathan doesn't have a history of doing particularly well, so I struggle to feel compelled to give more than a half a point for that, to be honest. It's just such a tough event to consistently do well in. Holy crap, people have picked it, but no, I'm just doing Control F. I'm going to find a bunch of, Carls is what I'm going to find. Or Carters, or Zachary, and Carrie, and Carrick, and more Carls. There we are. There's another actual Carcassonne, though. Brad Sherwood. Brad Sherwood? Why does that sound familiar? Sherwood. Brad Sherwood. Is that a diplomacy player? Is that why I recognize that name? That's going to be my guess. I'm going to have to go look at diplomacy in a sec, because it just sounds like a diplomacy thing. Oh, also Brad Sherwood. Look at that. Former champion in Carcassonne just a little bit a while ago. Hey, that guy laurels at Carcassonne. I'll go 1.5. Recent champion has some laurels. That might be a little too favorable, but whatever. I'm doing it. Chris Russell. Chris Russell also has laurels. Put laurels up last year. Oh, won last year. Sure, you also can get a 1.5. Again, the field is so huge for Carcassonne, I just think repeating is hard. But recent champions, I don't know. Gotta give some credit. If you did it once, I'm more willing to bet on your ability to do it again than if you've never done it at all. Dusty Usner. I also want to repeat my apologies for anybody's name that I'm absolutely destroying by attempting to say them on stream while not actually having any clue how that's pronounced. Dusty has some laurels, like meaningful laurels in the event, but again, last in 2016. I'll split the difference between my half a point earlier and my 1.5. I'll give 1. No other Carcassones. All right, cool. He's at 7. Oh, I gotcha. You were trying to save me, and then I didn't look at chat till I finished my thing. I'm gonna be right back. Actually, I'm gonna take a very quick bathroom break. Please, chat, distract me when I come back too. It'll be great. Just what I need. All right. I'm back. Chat's not here to distract me. Lovely. Good. We can continue the nonsense. All right. CRK. Championship Racing? What the heck is CRK? Let's find out. David Menard, what are you doing? CRK. CRK. Crokinole. Oh, duh. Crokinole. How did I not instantly recognize Crokinole? All right. David's trying to compete in Crokinole. All right. Yes, thank you, Lewin. All right, upshot. Crokinole has a ton of people. Downshot. David did not place in Crokinole last year. However, here is where my dark memory of reading too many event reports might come through. The closest Crokinole has had in the past prior to this is many, many years of Elkfest, another flicking dexterity-ish game. Elkfest, if we look, had a pretty dominant champion. Why do I remember this name? Why do I know this? Who knows? But here's my secret. I believe that I am willing to bet Dave Maillard can be stupidly good at a flicking dexterity game. So I'm going to give him 2 points, even though he has no history in Crokinole. He has a very good history in Elkfest. And I'm going to claim that matters. What the hell? Oh, you gotta remember this shit. You gotta know these things, Lumen. You see, this is the secret that you gotta know all this if you want to be on my level of prognostication. No, I mean like, why should I remember these things? I don't know, but I definitely do. I definitely knew that name was a. Anyhow, that was funny though. That was good. I enjoyed flexing there. All right, what else do we got? Crokinole. Nobody. Oh my gosh, nobody else in Crokinole. That's actually kind of sad. That's wild. The reason I say that is wild is the second best team last year was Steve's team because he called his shot in Crokinole and put up the most points an individual last year, 11 points for calling his shot in Crokinole. But apparently he's not calling a shot in Crokinole, or he just didn't submit a team on time this year. So that's interesting to me. But anyhow, it's fine. You're here to steal my knowledge and then keep your Strategicon and BGA rating knowledge secret. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, exactly, right? Like, you could tell me a lot about that Strategicon stuff, probably, and that would be very helpful, but... Anyhow, yes, please steal my knowledge of the deep corners of the old event reports. But yeah, Elkfest no longer happens. Sad days. Anyhow, Carl Henning, Galaxy Trekker. Carl Henning definitely has laurels in Galaxy Trekker. The Hennings consistently do well in Galaxy Trekker, but yeah, Carl won last year. Although Galaxy Trekker also not super well attended. But Carl Henning. So, I mean, We're still getting 7 points at most, but like we win the event 50% of the time, maybe a little less. But I'm gonna give 3.5 points here. Like this is a pretty good bet. Anybody else dare bet on Galaxy Trucker? No. Is that a surprise? No. All right. Cool. All right, TNW up next. Richard in TNW. This is some war game, but which one? Which one? Which one indeed? The Napoleonic Wars, of course. There we are. Duh. All right. Richard's name is somewhat familiar. He suggested, yeah, they're around. They have a good number of laurels, although the event looks like John Emery is. Although there's also just lots of other events here too. Has Richard won this event? Does not look like Richard's done well enough to win this event, but he has placed in the past, which again gives me some promise that he could do so again. The event pulls a decent enough number of players that at least you get some decent points here, and you have a good number of laurels. I'll give 1.5 here. That might be a little generous, but it's fine. All right, what else do we got in the Napoleonic Wars? We have Peter. You'll notice that I'm trying to stop pronouncing last names so often, which is probably a good plan. Peter has some laurels in the event, and did win. Is a champion. All right, all right. I don't know how many years they've competed, but given that they won recently and have some other... Well, I don't know they have other laurels. That 40 laurels actually might be just from the year they won, or 50. They're not getting 50 laurels for winning the Napoleonic Wars, are they? Maybe they are. Whatever. I don't care that much. I'll give 2. Former champions, I respect. Kip Braley. There's a lot of names on this list. All right, let's search. Okay. Kip has had points in the past, but not recently, and not many. That looks close to just a half to me. And Austin Hayden. Alright, I got nothing, so that's also a half. Alright. I will admit my ability to estimate the Wargamers points is also a lot more suspect, because I don't read their reports as closely, and I don't know the fields. I don't have, like, insight, but... Does it ever bother you that sometimes names are listed first last and sometimes last first? Yes. Yes, it does. Absolutely. I very much look forward to the day where we digitize all of these, and presumably everybody then, like, their name is all pulled from the same spot in the database or whatever, and, like, I don't have to worry about that. And also then all the pages could just be updated constantly and easily, so, like, I could go look at the top 25 lore list of all time and see what James Pay currently is at, rather than have to have somebody manually update the website. And just hasn't, you know, in 7 years, which is fair because, like, I don't really want anybody to have to do it. But if you're gonna have this page, anyhow, TRC, I believe that's the Russian campaign. Do I at least know a war game by letters? Indeed, I do. The Russian campaign. Boom. Gary. Apparently I want to bet on Bert. Where's Bert? Oh, but Gary has the most lifetime laurels. Oh, because Gary does very well on the online events back when they happened. And Gary is a former champion. Multiple time champion in the past. Okay, Gary definitely has a, you know, reasonable shot to win. The event is still pulling above 16 players. This is at least 2, maybe 2.5, maybe even 3. That's a lot of wins and a lot of second places, right? 5th place last year. 5th place doesn't actually give any points at this level. We'll go 2.5. All right. Who else do we got? Nobody. Okay, fair enough. All right. Steve is up next. Merchant of Venus is MOV, I believe. Yes. All right. Steve has some laurels in Merchant of Venus. but it does not look like Steve's won before. So the event still pulls a pretty healthy number of players and competitors, but doesn't quite hit that 64 mark very often. So I'm gonna go one. I'll go 1.5. What the heck? You can have 1.5. All right. And wait, sorry. Any other Merchant of Venus players? Any other Merchant of Venus? Ooh, there is another Merchant of Venus. Debbie, Merchant of Venus. Exciting. Debbie does have points. Former champion, but has not placed since. This is where it would help if I knew Merchant of Venus. Has Debbie consistently been competing, or is this one of those things where you only play occasionally, but now you're going to play again this year? I don't know. Still is a former champion, but doesn't have any other results besides that one appearance many years ago. I'm going to go 1. I could maybe be talked in 1.5, but I'm going to go 1. Whoops, and now I lost my spot up above. There we are. Okay, Tom is quite good at war games. If my BWD is Bitterwoods. Indeed, Bitterwoods. All right. Tom is pretty good at this game. Pretty good at Bitterwoods. Very good at Bitterwoods. Although Tom has no laurels since 2016. Again, is this another example of a guy who has not been competing since 2016? Or is this an example of somebody who has been outclassed since and just been unlucky? I don't know. Tom is very good at the games he chooses to play, so I wonder if he's been choosing to play other stuff and is returning. That's what makes it so hard. Like, Tom has done so well in the past. Even if he's had a couple of rough years in a row, I find it hard to not want to bet some amount on him. I'll give him 2.5. That's a hard one for me to know what to do. I really value recent history also, but all right. Frank is a name. Recognize. Frank has some Bitterwoods laurels and one last year, which means this laurel chart's not updated. Oh wait, no, 2 different Franks. Whoops, sorry. Okay, even better. Frank has one last year and is pretty good. I'll go 2. I'll go 2. That maybe should also be 2.5, but although 3 people, Bill Morris here is Bill also is very high up, has also won a lot. 3 people competing for these points. I'm probably giving slightly too many here by giving. They should maybe all be 2s, but whatever. Some of them got 2.5s. Congrats. All right. We get to my team. All right, I'm a little bit biased here. My team did win last year, but I think that was a good bit of luck. But we do get to Andrew Martin in Terraforming Mars. Andrew's been playing a lot of Terraforming Mars, so he only competed last year and he got 5th. So he didn't make the final. Mars is a pretty big field, but didn't quite hit the 128 mark last year. But you still do pick up some meaningful team points if you can place at all. Historically, Mars has proven way more. It's been way easier to repeatedly do well than I expected for how big the field is. You see quite a few of the same names pretty repeatedly. And some of the people who I trust a lot do pretty well. So like this is a hard one to value, but I think Andrew has pretty reasonable shots, honestly, at winning and competing. And he's very good at a lot of games. He's also been on a lot of a heater. He won EuroQuest, the overall EuroQuest thing. Like, I don't know. It's hard to say the exact number here. I'm gonna go 3, but honestly, it could be higher or better than that. But 3 is still already in the top several players that we've actually been ranking. So I'll go there. Anybody else competing in Terraforming Mars? Indeed. Dante, Terraforming Mars. So Dante has not won the event, but Dante has had several other finishes. Again, even other finishes are pretty good. It also indicates like they could win. I'll give Dante 2.5. Like if Dante gets in the top 6 at all, you're pulling at least 2 team points. I mean, getting in the top 6 at all is still a decent bit to ask in a tournament that has 120 players. I'll give Dante 2.5. That's maybe slightly too high, but Dan Adams also has laurels. Does have laurels. Does have some finishes. A little bit less consistent and less highly placed. I'll give Dan 1.5, which is pretty good. And we have Chad Weaver. Chad Weaver's a pretty good gamer. Chad Weaver also, much like Dan, has some history here. I'll also go 1.5. I mean, there are 4 guys here that I'm like giving some points to, and there's only so many Terraforming Mars points to go around. So, you know, and Roble presumably is playing Mars again and would have been on my team, but that's what we have for Mars. Okay, Amun-Re, Eric Freeman. So Eric is pretty good at Amun-Re, but pretty good at Amun-Re still means that you only win like every 6th year or something. But he often does place, although last year he did not. But he does have a lot of lifetime laurels in the event. He definitely has won the event a couple of times. Yeah, this is tricky. I mean, the Amun-Re field at least is pulling above 32 players, probably. And I'm gonna say Eric has a 1-in-7, 1-in-6 shot of winning based on history, and then some shot at picking up the other points. That's gonna put him at like a 2. I'm gonna go 2. All right. Anybody else going Amun-Re this year? Apparently somebody else is, or I'm finding another name. No, Anne is going for Amun-Re. There are a lot of Amun-Re loyalists. But they do not appear to be one of them, so half a point when I don't know anything. All right. Innovation. Rob Effinger won Innovation last year. I believe Rob Effinger has the most lifetime laurels in Innovation. So definitely a pretty good bet on Innovation. Yeah. Rob has won the event every other year for the last several years. Has the most lifetime laurels by a pretty good margin. The event doesn't always pull 32 players. Last year it did pull 32, which is nice. 1 more point than otherwise. But can be pretty meaningful through the other thing. But still, it looks like Rob is literally going to win like half the time. And then otherwise probably get some points. So I'm going to go 3.5. If it hits size... part of the difficulty here is I would give him 4 if I was convinced we were going to pull 32 players, but the fact it might drip below does impact the overall points expectation. I'll go 3.5, but 4 maybe is more accurate. But all right, any other people for innovation before we do the great thing of trying to... Oh yeah, Michael Tyson. Michael Tyson's a very strong player at a lot of games and has done pretty well at innovation and is also one of the few people who have won recently. That seems pretty promising then, all together. I will give Michael 2.5. That seems like a pretty good bet. Former champion, laurelist recently, does well. Yeah, that looks solid. I think it's pretty likely one of those 2 wins. I mean, I'm sure there's other chances for other people too. So, but those look like the top bets. Okay. Me, Beyond the Sun. All right, we get to rank ourselves, inevitably. If we go by the metric of looking at the history of the event, I get a big fat 0 because I have no points. However, I have also literally not played Beyond the Sun at WBC, so this is where we go to the metric of how good is the player in general. I was third in the console running last year. I made a lot of finals. I have quite a few laurels in a variety of events. I feel pretty good about Beyond the Sun. I am the highest rated player on BGA that's played at WBC. At least I think that's true, unless Jeff Wu has passed me in the meantime. Whoops. I have a Beyond the Sun turn that I need to take. We're getting a Beyond the Sun action quick. I'm gonna end the game here. Whoops. I don't actually know that was my best move, to be honest, but I win this game regardless of what I do. That might not be true. Well, hopefully I won the game. That was pretty hasty of me. I must win this game, right? Right? Hopefully. Sorry, Anyhow, I'm blabbing a lot. I have a very high elo in Beyond the Sun. I feel pretty good about my chances. The event does pull more than 32 players. So all of those things are pretty good news. I don't know how tough the field is, though, so it's hard for me to feel super strongly. But I do think I have pretty good odds. But without having a history, it's very hard to put a specific number. Okay, yeah, to be fair, I actually don't know who this is, so there might be somebody showing up to WBC that's higher rated than me at Beyond the Sun, but anyhow. I definitely have some good shots, but there are also some very good players that play Beyond the Sun. I mean, Shadow, Jeff Wu is very good at Beyond the Sun, so I'm gonna give myself 3. That represents roughly like a quarter to a third shot of like winning the event plus getting some other placement points, and I think that's roughly what I think my odds should be in Beyond the Sun. Kurt Collins is listed Beyond the Sun. That's interesting. I did not know that. Kurt Collins is not on this list, but Kurt Collins is also very good at a lot of games. If he's calling a shot on Beyond the Sun, that is pretty interesting to me. I will respect the fact that he puts laurels up in a lot of events. If he's calling a shot, I'm going to give him nearly what I gave myself. It does make me a little scared, actually, of betting myself as much on Beyond the Sun, knowing one other very good player is also betting on themselves. And then Jim did reasonably well last year and is betting on himself to do something again. Yeah, this is tough. Beyond the Sun's such a new game with WBC. I don't know what point value to assign. I'm going to give him 1.5. I don't know that Jim has a... I don't know Jim as well, so yeah, I don't feel good about any of the ratings I just gave out. So let's move on though. WOR, War of the Ring. Chris Trimmer is very good at War of the Ring, so it makes sense to me that that is the game he picked. Chris Trimmer won the event, most laurels. The event is under 32 players recently, though, so even if he wins, you're getting 7 points. You get 7 points, though, roughly half the time. This is like a 3. Yeah, this looks like a 3, maybe even a 3.5. I'll go 3.5. Chris Trimmer is very good. Anybody else on War of the Ring? Somebody else is on War of the Ring, eh? Alright. I don't recognize that other name, but that doesn't mean that they're not here. They don't appear to be here, though. Alright. Person that I don't know at all gets half a point, but, I mean, War of the Ring seems like a game, if you were pretty good at it and you showed up at WBC and I suspect you could do pretty well. I mean, the War of the Ring players are got to be pretty good, but also it's a two-player game that I think has a lot of skill. So, like, if you really practiced, I suspect you could make some noise, but I don't know. Star Wars Rebellion is up next. Very similar kind of game. Ty Hansen, I believe, has a lot of laurels in this event. He's a former champion. The event is barely pulling above 16 people, though. But Ty has a shot at winning. He's pretty good. I'll give him 3. Might be slightly high also, but whatever. Alex is also going for this. I believe Alex is the leading lifetime lore list. Also is quite good. I guess I can't in good conscience also give him a 3 if I'm giving Ty, because I think Alex... Well, they're pretty equivalent. We'll give them both 3s and call it a day. Andrew Drummond also going for Star Wars Rebellion. Andrew, so literally the top 3 lore lists, and okay, I'm just giving them all 3. That probably doesn't make sense because they're fighting over 10 total team tournament points, and so are other people. Let's lower these numbers to 2.5 all, and call that pretty reasonable. All right. Richard Irving, AOA. Aces over aces, I believe. I actually want to play Ace of Aces. It seems like such an interesting game, but yeah, I haven't. Richard Irving, back-to-back champion, has won in the past. Bill Birch won a lot otherwise. But Rich Irving looks pretty good. Event pulls 32 players. Wow, this looks pretty good for Rich, actually. I didn't realize that he's a back-to-back champ and former multi-time lore list. I'll give Rich, like, 3. That looks pretty good. All right, but who else do we have? We do have Bill Burtless. So this is where it gets tricky. I could have... gets interesting. I could have sworn these names used to be Bill... Was it always Bill... Oh, no, Bill Burtless is different than Bill Birch. Okay. All right, well, that's good to confirm. Somehow I wanted to merge them in my head. Okay, I mean, Bill Burtless also has done some in this event, but is not the, 5-time champ. So I'll give him a 2. 2 might even be too high. Go 1.5. Doesn't look like they've ever won before. Yeah, so. All right. And then we have Kevin at... That must be Advanced Civilization. Kevin is very good at a lot of games. Kevin's a great guy. Took me out of Medici last year, only mildly. Yeah, not actually mildly. No, it was a good game, but yeah. Kevin took me out of Medici. It was good times. Kevin has won Advanced Civilization. Kevin has the most lifetime laurels on Advanced Civilization. Kevin's very good at games. Advanced Civ probably pulls at least 32 players. I'll give Kevin at least 3, maybe even a 3.5. I don't know. Like, I guess what did Kevin do last year in Advanced Civilization? Kevin got 4th. I'll go 3. I'll go 3. Advanced Civilization's tough, but who else is in the Advanced Civilization? Nathan. Nathan does have laurels. And he was a past champion, just not anywhere near as consistent or long as Kevin, but I'll go 2.5. I mean, former champion and all that. That looks like a top team. Yes, the one that I was just on with Kevin, I agree. Chris, Ty, Richard, Kevin looks like I'm guessing on Civil Servants is going to be in my top 10. I'd be surprised if it's not. All 4 of those guys have, even if they don't exactly math out as a top team, the fact that I'm giving all of them at least a 2.5 means that all of them have very reasonable chances to win. So it's going to be really hard for me not to want to put a bet on Civil Servants. I agree. That looks really good. Okay. Aaron in Titan 2, which is Titan 2 player? Yeah, Titan 2 player. I believe Aaron has a long history in this event of doing very well, and indeed that is the case. But the event is getting dangerously close to not even pulling 16 players, which would drop you to 16 points max, and you're only like halfway likely to win it. I'll give a 3 here. Anybody else competing in Titan 2? Nope, that's not surprising. Not many people play Titan 2. David Finberg. TTN is just Titan? Yes, just Titan. Alright, Aaron also is good at this, but so is David. David Finberg, multiple-time winner, has a lot of lifetime laurels in the event. The event does look slightly more likely to pull 16 at least. I'll go 2.5. As you can tell, I'm starting to speed up my estimations slightly, although also partly because we're talking about people and games that I have less actual knowledge about. Alright, SRM for Martin Sample. I recognize the name. I don't know that I've ever met Martin, which is kind of sad. But, I mean, that's part. Look, it's still a big enough convention. It's hard to meet everybody. Also, what is SRM? I don't even know. I don't even know. I also don't see it. So it's a new game? Oh, nope, Star Wars Outer Rim. There it is. Star Wars Outer Rim. Alright, Martin has placed in Star Wars Outer Rim. Has not won, but the event's pretty new. I loosely recognize his name. I'll give him a 2. I mean, that might be too high for a guy who hasn't won the event, but I know so little about that, and you have laurels in one of the 2 that have been held. Noah Drummond does not have laurels. I'll go 1 just because I'm feeling nice, I guess. I don't know. Alfred. Mostly I just recognize the name Drummond, I guess, is why I'm being nice, so that's probably not a great reason, but Alfred in Star Wars Outer Rim, I see no points. I don't really know Alfred at all. I don't recognize the name. I'm gonna go half, gonna do my default half a point when I don't know anything. Alright, SSB is Superstar Baseball. Terry James, Superstar Baseball. That sounds like a past champion. Indeed, it's the current champion. That's why it sounds familiar. Also, is somebody who has won twice in recent years, has some laurels. The event's not super well attended. What did we do in 2022? Are we on a crazy run? No, we blanked in 2022. What did we do in 2018? We got second. So we're on a streak of second, first, 0, second in an event that gives out, that would have been 7-2-7-0 team points. So over 4 years, we've earned 16 team points. I mean, I guess. I mean, that's 4. I don't know that the longer term history, it's less clear. I'll go 3.5. I mean, that looks pretty promising. All right, anybody else on Superstar Baseball? Tim Rogers is. Heck yeah. Tim Rogers, I don't super recognize the name, but does have some laurels, although not since 2016. That doesn't seem super promising, but hey, you have some laurels. You get a 1. All right. Okay, what do we got next? All right, Bruno, Africa Corps. Bruno is a past board member, pretty all-around good wargamer. I believe has some Africa Corps history. Bruno definitely has some wins, has some laurels, but it is a pretty well-attended competitive event. But past champion, but not. Did get laurels in 2023 though, yeah. Although again, the event doesn't really give out points for anything for 5th or 6th. I'll go 1.5. It should maybe be a 2, but anybody else for Africa Corps? Wow, yes. Or no, I'm pulling up Shark, I'm pulling up Spark, I'm pulling up names. Oh, also because I put in the wrong thing though. It's AFK, not ARK for Africa Corps. All right, that is the only one. All right. Bitter Woods we already did. 1775, Dennis. I know very little about this game. I don't see Dennis's name amongst winners. I don't see Dennis's name at all, do I? Dennis. I don't see it at all. Knowing nothing, I go default half a point. All right. Any other 1775 players? There is David Schneider. David Schneider, back-to-back winner, and winner before that in an event that pulls 32 players. Wow, that seems pretty good. I'll go like 3.5, maybe even a 4, right? What did you do in 2019, David Schneider? You got second? So what did you do in 2018? You got second. So you are literally first, second, second, first, first. Never mind. And every year had at least 32 players. So that's I did not realize that's a very good find. David Schneider's like a 4.5 on average, like a 5. I think that's like a 5. That's really good. This Seven Springs ski team looks really pretty promising. I don't know the other players yet, but Kurt Collins and David Schneider, that looks good. All right, Queen's Gambit, Larry Lingle. Queen's Gambit and Larry Lingle are a name that go together. If you asked me to name a Queen's Gambit player, I would say, well, I might say nobody, but because I might not remember. But Larry Lingle definitely checks out. Yeah, Larry Lingle, multi-time Queen's Gambit winner, all-time leading laurelist, did get places in 2013. The event does not pull 32 players, though, so gotta knock it slightly. So we'll give Larry 2.5. All right, Queen Gambit. Anybody else? No. All right. DJ CMK, Castles of Mad King Ludwig time. DJ Borden's a very good gamer overall. I believe he's pretty good at Castles of Mad King Ludwig. Although, yeah, so DJ's won twice, and then Steve has somehow won 3 years in a row. DJ did get laurels in 2022. Interesting. That seems pretty good for DJ, but not great. The event is big. The event is over 64. With the event being over 64, and DJ having reasonably good odds of getting something, I'll go 2.5. Yeah. I'm guessing other people are contesting castles, though. Wow, only Dalton, it looks like. Interesting. Yeah, well, Steve chose Scythe instead of castles. We'll see if that pays off. That might, but anyhow, Dalton. Dalton's a pretty good gamer overall. Did get laurels last year. It's a tough event, but again, it's a pretty... If you can do well, it's good. I'll go 1.5. 2 is... there's not a ton of history there, though, so I don't know. It's tough. We already did Arc Nova. Rob Murray, Splendor. So Rob Murray and Splendor is pretty good. However, I don't trust people to repeat in Splendor super often. Rob Murray did win the play by email once. Does have a lot of lifetime laurels. Tied with Andrew. Rob did not place in 2023, although I don't know how much he was playing because he was running things, and he did take second. The event is huge. Splendor is one of the few games that does the 10-5-4-3, so like if you win, you're getting 10 points, and even if you get other places, like you can get 5. 5 is almost as good as winning some of the other events. So that part's great. Rob is reasonably good bet here. I give Rob like 3 on average. Like 3 on average. I think Splendor's very, like, I think this is a pretty high variance because, like, I think there's a shot Rob gets nothing, but there's a shot he gets 10 points. So, like, it's very hard to assign a value there. Carl. Carl is a very good gamer also. Yeah, I learned that he just won the most recent play by email event, so that's promising. However, Carl doesn't have as much other history in this event. Although Carl doesn't have as much other history at WBC, I don't think, although I'm not totally sure. But again, pays out a ton of points. I'll give Carl a 2, and that maybe is unfair, but I don't know. Brandon Bernard. Brandon Bernard is a very strong gamer overall also. He does have some Splendor points. But again, there's too much competition in the Splendor streets, everybody. Can't all win, although there are a ton of points to be won. I'll also give it 2. And Larry, do you have any history in this field? It does not appear so. I'm going half a point, sorry. Splendor's a good game, but yikes, it's hard to win with that many fighting. In an ideal model, would you include having a quarterfinal as a factor? Yes, I think I would. Although, I mean, I would want to include if you have a quarterfinal. I also want to have if you have a quarterfinal that's skippable, right? So, like, St. Petersburg has a quarterfinal. However, I'm expecting it's pretty likely the top players are just going to go straight to the semifinal if they choose to play multiple heats. So, it depends, right? Like, some games, everybody basically has to play the quarterfinal, like Splendor. Splendor, there's very few to no buys, right? You just take the top, like, 27 players and you run a bracket. But St. Petersburg and, like, Third and Texas is going to take all the heat winners, and then you're going to directly advance people to the semis. So that part's tricky. Some have force. Exactly. Like, if I really wanted to get down to it, I agree. I would also work that in. And to be fair, that is part of why I, like, discount Splendor a bit, is, like, yeah, there's a decent amount of skill in Splendor, but also, like, we're going to whittle the field down to the top 27 and then have them square off to see who's the best. Like, you got to win however 4 games in a row against strong opposition, 3 games in a row against strong opponents, whatever. Like, it's a little bit harder, but 3 games in a row. But anyhow, okay, Tim O'Flynn, Power Grid. To be clear, if I really, really wanted to do this a bit more, I agree. I think I would do just a lot of historically, like, I would want to look historically, like I'm doing. I would go to the game page, like, look at how many players the game tends to have and what your historical results are in that game over the last, like, 5 years. And, like, that's a pretty decent baseline estimate. Then I would also want information, though, about, like, the player, right? And I think that's where Stuart, I think, does have a little bit of player rating stuff, and I think that's somewhat useful. Like, especially if we're trying to estimate me and Beyond the Sun. What has been my average return to my team in the team tournament in the years that I've participated, right? Like, what have I done? I would like those type of numbers, because I think that also can be useful. Anyhow, what are we looking at? Power Grid. Power Grid. Tim O'Flynn. I don't see Tim as having won the event. A lot of people have laurels in this event, though, because it's a long-time favorite. Tim does have events as of 2022, or laurels as of 2022, but very few. The event is widely competitive and does give out some places for other positions, but that's going to only be a 1-pointer for me. Without much other history, that's tough to want to bet on. John Myers. All right, John Myers is basically identical to Tim O'Flynn's like history and results, so also going to be 1 point. Philip Shea, I at least recognize the name. Definitely has been around WBC a lot. I don't know how good at Power Grid. Somewhat good, though. Somewhat good, although no results the last 2 years, but slightly more lifetime laurels. I'm also just going to go a 1 here. I mean, there's more lifetime laurels, but they're a little bit farther back, and I don't know how often any of these players are playing this tournament. Power Grid is a tournament that I don't know. I don't attend it personally, so I don't know who's competing in it. Jack Munson did win 2 years ago. Again, I do value former winners, though. If you've won, and you have more laurels, that's a little more exciting. I'll go 2, maybe even 2.5. Sure, let's bump it up to 2.5. All right. All right, Michael Dower. That's a name. Michael Dower, I think, was in the console running once or twice. Mostly plays war games, but history of the world? No, Here I Stand is Michael Dower. Michael Dower is the current champion. Michael Dower has won like every other year recently. Michael Dower has a lot of lifetime laurels. The event pulls at least 32 players. I mean, a guy that has won 3 of the last 5 years seems like a pretty good bet. So if you win the event half the time, you get 4 points, and you get some other points otherwise. Yeah, I mean that's like a 4, maybe even a 4.5. I'll go 4, but that's I'm liking the looks of that team. All right. Anybody else actually competing? No, nobody else competing. Just pulling names. All right. Tom. I recognize as one of the console contenders this last year. He's in the top 10. So obviously quite good at games to get in the top 10. IMS, I don't know what that is. I really don't know what that is. This must be a new game? Is this our actually first new game of the stream that I have to go look up? Alright, IMS. What the heck are you? Look, it is a game. It is a game. Whoops, I needed to clear, then go IMS. Imperial Struggle. Must be new. Or it's returning. Returning is a possibility. Let's go back quite a few years. Is Imperial Struggle an old game? No. Okay. I mean, Imperial Struggle is a new game. I have no idea how many people are going to attend it. I have no idea who's actually good at it. What I do know is, Tom, we're now just betting on the player because I know nothing else to go off of. And the player, Tom, again, I don't know how to say the last name, so I'm avoiding saying it, but the console this last year, Tom is up there. Tom won 3 events. Some pretty tough events, and he's betting on himself in a new game. I'm gonna, I don't know, at least 3. Like, at least 3. If you've won 3 events in the last year and you're betting on yourself in this new event, I think you have pretty good odds. Roughly a quarter to 1 in 3. Yeah, let's go like 3 points on average. It's very hard to know, but seems look at this. This also looks like a pretty top team. This School of Sharks looks like a good bet. Again, we'll see the overall points soon. I say soon, but I'm only on rank 13. I mean, I've done a lot of other, I've at least done a lot of other people, so, but I might have to speed up the end part here. Now, to be fair, speeding up the end part is a lot easier because while I don't fully agree with Stewart's methodology for ranking, I do think he overall has a reasonable list, so he does have the more likely top teams up near the top. Anyhow, Marvin Birnbaum, pretty good history at this game. Has the most lifetime laurels. The event pulls at least 32 players. I'll go 2.5 here. Like, multi-time champion, decently likely to place. Ooh, we have some Monsters Menace America competition. Eric. I don't recognize this name, but I don't play this game. Does not look like a former champion, though. Doesn't look like they show up at all. So, default, half a point. Alright, what else do we got? David, John Pack. Recognize the name from some stuff, but I don't know. Might just be because they help run events less than winning events. I don't see any history here, so... Oh, wait, no, there it is. There it is. Okay, did place last year. All right, I'll go 1 point. And Emma... Whoops, nope, not actually playing Emma. I just pulled an Emma there. All right. And then CTR, Crash Test Racing? Is that what that event is? No, Charioteer. Charioteer is the event. Charioteer is very new. Joseph Birnbaum did take second place, though. And the event is pretty big. I'll give him like 2.5. If you can repeat, that's definitely good value. So, all right, Susan Cornett, MED. I don't know what that is. I do not know what that event is. Medici, duh, never mind. I do know what that event is. The fact it was weirdly capitalized tricked me, but the Cornets are pretty good at this game. Yeah, so Medici's hard, though, to repeatedly do well. The fields are pretty big. I'll go 2.5? 2.5. You're a multi-time champion, whatever. Medici. Anybody else? Maybe. What else do we got? Medici. There we are. Carmen. It does have some laurels, but not for quite some time. So I'll go 1. You at least have a history in the event, but not lately. And then Heidi. I'm not seeing it. Admittedly, this is where also if I knew the players, it could occasionally matter. Although, okay, there's no Heidi's, I was going to say. Sometimes, right, people change their last names or list different last names, but default 0.5 point. All right. Jeff, BCY, Battlecry, Jeff Cornett, Battlecry. Jeff schooled me in a game of Medici one time. It was a good time. I don't know how good he is at Battlecry, but former champion. Multi-time champion, lifetime leading laurelist, placed last year in 4th, but relatively small field, no longer pulling 32 players. I'll go 2.5. It's fine. All right, any other battle cry? Nope. All right, GSR, Doug Wallio. I recognize Doug's name. Gangsters. Gangsters came back last year after quite a ways away. Doug is reasonably good at Gangsters. Doug won multiple times. I did place last year. How well did we place last year, Doug? We got 2nd. Okay, so I mean, of the last 4 times WBC has held the event, you've gone 1st. You've gone 1st, 5th, 2nd, 1st. 1st, 5th, 2nd, 1st is 4, 16. That's pretty damn good. I'll go 3.5. Like, that average is pretty good. I did not know anything about Gangsters. What else? We got Sarah Sparks. I don't see Sarah Sparks. Okay. All right. Default 0.5 point. All right. Okay. Sean McCullough, Battle Line. Is a former champion, has the most lifetime laurels, placed last year, 2nd. It seems pretty good. This is an event that also often breaks 64 players. So if you do win or you place, you get slightly more points. I'll go 2.5. Dude, I know there's an event called Jam Sumo. I did. It's on the schedule this year. Uh, it's I think it was sponsored in though, surely, right? But all right. But yeah, I did see it on the event. I looked it up briefly because I was curious. But Pascal's pretty good at events and is trying to play Battle Line. Interesting. So this one's where I want to bet on the player a little bit. If this player is calling their shot in Battle Line, I suspect they've actually been playing and practicing. But with very little to no history in the event, I don't want to go too high. I'm going to go 1.5 also, but that's really hard. I also don't know how good you can get at Battle Line by practicing. Presumably pretty good, to be honest, but I genuinely have no idea. All right, this also I know nothing. I know nothing here, so default half point. All right, Kremlin, Peter Stein. I don't know that I've ever met Pete, but I definitely... I must have met Pete slightly, but his name's very familiar, but I think he was a board member. And he probably pops up in some of these event reports, inevitably. And he has won the event before, although it's been a while. But he does have a lot of laurels, and he placed last year. Did he place last year? Did he? Occasionally the website's wrong. It's hard to have everything accurate. All right, he did place in 2022. That's not super promising, but is a former champ. I'll go 1.5, but maybe it's better to go 1 there. All right, Sebastian Benedict, Kremlin. Sebastian Benedict. I don't. Oh, there are some laurels last year. Okay, good enough. Give you a point at least. You might be able to win the event. What else do we got? We have somebody who is ineligible. All right. Alhambra, Lisa. I don't actually know who tends to win Alhambra. Lisa has won the event. The ranks. Something is terribly wrong with this laurel list. Now that I'm on this page. Yeah, something is terribly wrong with the laurel list. These numbers are wrong. These ranks are wrong. It looks like the top of the laurel list is just missing. Is actually what the problem is. Now that I'm paying more attention, these things are correct, but we're just missing the top 24 players or whatever. So, that's great. I'm sure Lisa is up there because winning the event means you have more than 30 laurels. So I don't totally know. Let's, I guess, look at the last couple of years. Lisa did repeat as 6th, and nothing last year. Wait, what? What have I done? Have I just all the links are effed. All the links are effed on the Alhambra page. All right, cool. All right, we're out of there. Can't wait to scrape that one. Amazing. Just on name, the event sounds ridiculous. Yes, I agree. Okay. Well, the Alhambra event is a mess. I'll go 2 points. Has some laurels, has some recent history, recent champion. The event does pull a lot, but yeah, hard to piece anything else together there with that list. Whoops, I already left the Alhambra page. I don't really remember. I'll go 1.5. I don't care to go back. I think Laurie's name was on there somewhere. If I mess up a team estimating horribly because of it, I apologize, but all right, we have a San Juan that we're looking up. It's gotta be San Juan. All right, San Juan. We have Chris Kaiser competing. So Jeff has been very good historically at this game. Chris Kaiser, though. Chris Kaiser is on the list, so reasonably good. The event pulls a good number. I'll go 2 for Chris. All right, anybody else San Juan? Keith Dent in San Juan is not eligible. Otherwise, I would bet pretty highly. It is pretty unfortunate. That team looked pretty good if only they weren't, ineligible. Bruce Young up front. going through this exercise does make me realize just how many games WBC runs and just how little I know about some of them, which is part of why the event is so fun and alluring to me. All right, Bruce Young has a lot of laurels in upfront, but nothing recently. So like, I gotta respect the fact that you've done so well consistently, and you are a past champion at some point. But also like, not doing anything lately makes me want to go only like a 2. Anybody else up front? Ooh, multiple people up front. See, also 4 people fighting up front. That worries me. Now, John Embrian up front. Now, there's a guy who has won lately. I'll go 2.5 on that. Maybe should even go 3, but... Alright, Ralph. There's Ralph, also a good number of laurels. Not a recent champion. I'll go 1.5. This event looks competitive with 4 people calling it as their team game. And then Brian. You think all the Greenville teams are leading with an upfront player? Oh, you might have caught it. Yeah, now that actually I think you're right. Now that you say that, you're right. These are all the Greenville Mafia, or a lot of the Greenville Mafia teams. Oh, that is actually pretty cool if that's what they did. That's actually very cool if that's what they did. Anyhow, I sort of recognize Brian's name, but I don't actually. He doesn't have any history up front, so like, I'll give him 1, just because apparently I'm feeling it. But all right, Josh Githens, that's a name also that I've seen in event reports before. FDE is some racing game, right? Formula Day, indeed, racing game. All right, Josh Githens, you are up there. You have won in the past, not too long ago. You have some laurels. Oh, it's a decent size event. It's like a 2. Anybody else? FDE. Yes, we do have another Hakan has also one very similar profile, also a 2. I feel like I missed somebody in there. Yeah, there we are. Patrick. I don't see it. That's because it's not there. Big old half. When I know nothing. All right, CBC, Jeff. What is CBC? The combat commander. Combat commander seems likely. Yes, combat commander. All right, Jeff Spanner. There we are. Hasn't done much lately. Has some laurels, but the event's pretty lengthy history. I'm gonna go just 1 point. I'm not feeling that much. Ted. Ted's in a somewhat similar position, at least has laurels lately, but no champion. Not a very big event. And RJ Gleaton. See a Ralph Gleaton. Maybe that's RJ? Maybe RJ's somebody else. I don't know. You also just get a 1 point, I guess. Being slightly... I don't know. RFG, Race for the Galaxy? Alex Anderson? Is that what RFG is? Certainly seems like that would make sense. Race for the Galaxy, RFG. Alright, I don't recognize the name, though. And indeed, I don't see them on the list. Although the list is huge. But they are not there. Half a point! Half a point. Okay. All right, time to pause for a sec. I have gone through only 16 teams for real. Now, many of the other teams are getting filled out, but I am not anywhere near as far as I'd hoped to be, although I guess a lot of it is populated. I mean, I knew this was going to be a long stream, but I don't know that I'm actually going to finish here or not. But I do want to at least go through several more teams because there's some very strong teams still that I've not ranked yet. Um, yeah, there's some very strong teams that I've not got to rank yet. With that said, the top of the list is looking like roughly where my eyeballs were going to lead me in terms of what I would want to bet on and who I'd probably leave off. But I really did want to talk about the end results. So it's possible that I end the stream somewhat soon and I finish this exercise on my own and I come back and do a kind of summary video, which probably would be more fun for people to watch anyhow, besides for the crazy folks that want to watch all of this or listen to all of this. But anyhow, Lumen is here. I can't stop exactly on Wingspan. Lumen's very highly rated in Wingspan. I think you won an arena season in Wingspan. You placed second last year in Wingspan. So, I mean, Wingspan's a giant event. So also, if you win for the first time, you get mega points. And even if you just place second again, you get 5 points. Lumen and Wingspan's going to be... I mean, it's such a big event, and it is a variance game, but, like, you get so many points, and Lumen is arguably the favorite to win here. How many other people are claiming they're going for Wingspan out of curiosity? Only one other? I mean, I'm going to give Lumen 3.5? I almost want to go 4. But there's not that much history there, but, like... Even third and fourth place. I mean, I guess it's saying you have to make a final though out of how many great players. Even fifth or sixth give 3. I don't know. This is where I guess I should do exact math. Like if I think you even have a 10% chance of each of the top 6 spots and like a 40% chance of no laurels, where would I then rank you? Yeah, no, 3.5's pretty kind. 3.5's reasonable. Mitchell, on the other hand, do you have any laurels in this event? No. Alright. I don't recognize your name, sorry. You get half a point. You could be a Wingspan champ, I just don't know it. Thought you meant good enough to look into playoff. Lumen has pretty great odds against all but 2 of those former champions. They look pretty good. Yeah, those former champs do look pretty good, don't they? Yes. Thanks for chiming in. Those former champs are good. No, I mean, I think Lumen has good odds, but yeah, I mean, there's still other people that are pretty good at Wingspan, so like, it's hard. It's so hard to put a number. Again, I really struggle putting a number on these really high leverage ones because, like, if Lumen wins Wingspan, he gets 11 points, and there is a reasonable shot of that happening. But like, what's the average result compared to the if he wins, like his team goes nuclear result? Like that's what's hard to handle. Navigador for Chad. Chad has won Navigador in back-to-back years. I value back-to-back champs pretty highly. I do think Navigador is a little tricky to repeatedly do that well at, but also, like, back-to-back wins, an event that pulls at least 32 players. Like, I gotta give you at least, like, 3 or 3.5 points. The history prior to that leaves me sketchy, so, like, that's where, like, I don't know that I'm as convinced about the back-to-back, but back-to-back's still pretty good. Pretty freaking good. Nobody else is trying to compete in it. Like, 3 is maybe low, but I'll go with it. The reason that I wanted to do this team, as you can quickly see, is this team is criminally underrated. I don't know what the Happy Handicapper is doing. I guess he just doesn't like Lumen and Wingspan, potentially. I do think it makes enough sense to not love Carl, especially if you don't know Carl won the play by email event. But Chad is back-to-back Navigator champ, and then we also have frickin' AJ, who has not missed a Through the Ages final, which is what I'm currently looking for, although I'm looking for it up in the stupid A's because I'm an idiot. Through the Ages is clearly down here, even though it's AGE. Anyhow, AJ has gone champ, second place, champ, and third? Yeah, second and fourth. He did take fourth last year. The event is falling below 32 players, admittedly, so there is that. But AJ is I don't know, over 50% likely to get 7 points, and then some amount to get the others, based on history. So that's a 4. I don't know. All you need to do, Table Talk people, do not feed it other fucking bullshit. Can't tell you why they did that, but you certainly wasn't mad. You don't know how our rating is that low. Second last year should have some effect on top. You guys were second last year? Wait, what? Or are you having second last year? Sorry, that's what you mean. Yes. The fact that you have second in Wingspan last year, coupled with AJ's history and Through the Ages and Chad's history and Navigador, I agree. I don't know why you guys are in rank 17. It doesn't make sense to me. I have you guys at a 12.5, which puts you as the second best team that I've rated thus far. I completely agree. Team Sweat Hogs is a good bet. I don't know how the handicapper, again, even if I put the default half a point for Carl, you guys still are showing up, as an 11 and pretty competitive with many of the top teams. I agree. I question the handicapper here, but hey, that's just free value for the rest of us. Anybody else competing in Through the Ages, by the way? Oh yeah. Ben is in Through the Ages, because I didn't even look at this for Randy, I guess, but, so Ben is pretty good at Through the Ages, but the event is stupidly, the event has just been so dominated by AJ and Randy in recent years, so I'll give, Ben is such a good gamer overall, though, also, I'll give Ben... Also, I got points in 2024. Wait a sec. Did I make the finals in the 2024 play by email? Oh, hey. Oh, I didn't make the finals. That's exactly what happened. The semi, I was the top semifinalist, and I took 6th place. Okay, there we are. That was I did not remember making the finals, but I didn't. We almost did. Okay, anyhow. Yeah, Ben's pretty good at the game, but the top is so heavy. So, I'll give 1.5. I just don't feel great about that. Okay. Oh, and Randy didn't do Through the Ages. Sorry, that is why we're on Through the Ages for the first time. Okay. BRS, Jay Matthews. That's Brass. Brass is a tough event, but I think Jay Matthews is pretty good. But also, Brass has a lot of very good players roaming around. But Jay Matthews is the current champion. Okay. They do also tend to play Brass Birmingham in the championships nowadays, and I don't know that other people are as good at that, and maybe Jay is. So I don't want to discount current champion too much at all. I'll go 3. I mean, current champ, I don't know. Not much else for history there, but again, the history means a little bit less to me if the advancement rounds are using Birmingham, which people are not as familiar with. Terry Brown is also competing. Don't see a Terry Brown. All right, half a point. Sorry. All right. We have GCA. That's Great Campaigns of the American War or American Civil War. I don't know. It's Great Campaigns, right? Great Campaigns of the American Civil War. I'm correct. Way too long of a name. But Justin Rice, you're a current champ. All right. See, Justin Rice has a lot of laurels in addition to winning last year, although it looks like a game that's been competed a lot, and he only finally broke through, and the event looks like it could drop below 16 people. So, not going to give too much here. I'm only going to go 2. It's maybe slightly stingy, but also an event that is pulling so low is a concern. All right, we have Wilderness War with Grant Ledoux. That's a pretty good bet. Wilderness War and Grant Ledoux is also a thing that goes together in my head. Grant has quite a few laurels in Wilderness War and was 2-time champion leading up to Tom taking it back. Grant has done quite well in recent years. The event could drop below 16 people, though. I'm going to go 2.5, though. Like, it's quite a bit of winning recently in that event. Nobody else on Wilderness War. Cool. All right, Kevin. Kevin is very good at games. He's a pleasure to play against. But Ra is a stupidly big field. Stupidly big field. So I don't really trust anybody in this field at all. Now, you do get a lot of laurels if you're gonna get a lot of points if you win. I just think your ability to win is very, very questionable, unfortunately. I think everybody's ability to win repeatedly in Raw is questionable. And I could come to regret that, but I doubt it. I mean, if somebody calls their shot in this game, kudos to them. I'm probably too low on people's ability to do so, but especially people that haven't already proven they can win this event or repeatedly do well in this event with lots of laurels, I'm pretty low about giving them too much. I do recognize John McSen's name. He's a very good gamer. I'll give him 1 point instead of half, but yeah, again, very low on a lot of this. Riley Gleeden, again, nowhere near the top of this list. Do you have any laurels in this event at all? You don't. I don't trust all these Raw bets. Raw's a great game. It's definitely fun to go play, and also, look, a lot of people sign up. Yeah, you sign up a team because you should. I want people to sign up teams, but sometimes you just pick a game and yeah, we see how it goes. All right, Memoir 44. This is another team that I was curious how it would even out because this team has some. This team definitely has some good results. I just don't know. Like, I don't know Memoir 44. How is David Wolf at Memoir 44? It does not look well known for Memoir 44, do they? Did get some laurels in 2019, but that's going to be a 1-pointer for me. What else do we got? We have Chris, Memoir 44. I do not remember seeing that name either. I don't see that name at all. All right, half a point. All right. Well, that's kind of a shame because I was feeling, I don't know, this David Schneider thing surprised me with like how many points I gave, but unfortunately the rest of the Seven Springs ski team, I mean, again, Kurt on Beyond the Sun I'm really uncertain about, but then their other members, the history doesn't seem very good. So I don't know. Okay, how much more do I got in me? I want to do a couple more here. I'm almost to Los Lobos Locos. I got to go through Los Lobos Locos. All right, we're going to keep pushing. Rob Doesn't Know is next. By the way, Rob Doesn't Know, great team name last year because Rob didn't know what team game he was doing. But how do you keep the name Rob Doesn't Know when Rob leaves your team? Does Rob not know that he's not on your team? Is that what the thing is? I don't know what's happening anymore, but I'm immediately suspicious. Immediately suspicious of the team. I value teams that have a coherent story here. Terrafarmers, all of our games have terraforming and farming. Like, that's how you win the team tournament. Rob Doesn't Know and you don't have Rob on your team? I don't know. I don't think that's champion DNA. SSP, Space Station Phoenix, Brandon Buchanan. Brandon's running it. He took second last year. He likes the game, but the game doesn't pull many people. I'll go like 2. Brandon's a pretty good gamer. And definitely has a shot at winning that, but All right, how many people are playing Space Station Phoenix? Only him. Cool. Whoops, got a little bit lost there. Okay. Seven Wonders Duel, Christian. All right, I believe he's... Did he win last year? No, Dominic won last year. Why does that name stand out? Okay, Christian got like second. That's why the name stands out. Okay, yeah. So got second last year. Seems pretty good. But only second. Only 1 year of history. We'll go 2 points there also. Anybody else in Seven Wonders Duel? Seven Wonders Duel. Yes, we do have Lou. Lou is on Seven Wonders Duel. All right. I don't see them having any laurels in the event, though. So I'm going to default to half a point there. And we have Edward. Also, I don't see any history of laurels. Default half a point. Okay. All right. LWD, Lord's Waterdeep. Eugene, great gamer. Great at a lot of games. I'm slightly surprised he's picking Lords of Waterdeep, but also I don't know... Okay, I was about to say, am I surprised he's picking Lords of Waterdeep? Apparently I'm not. Eugene has back-to-backed his way in Lords of Waterdeep. That suggests there is more to this game than I knew. Back-to-back champion, an event that is pulling well over 64 players. I don't know how much Eugene was competing prior to last year. I don't know if it's a game he just like figured out during the pandemic and has showed up, but back-to-back 2 years in a row. This is kind of the Chad situation, but the game has even more players, so it's more lucrative if you win, but it's harder to win. I don't know. At least a 3, maybe a 3.5. I'll go 3.5. Back-to-back champ in a pretty big event. I just don't know how easy it is to repeat at Lords of Waterdeep, though. I'm kind of dubious, but also like you already repeated once, so I don't know. Back-to-back, it's hard for me to knock that. All right, Joseph Carrick. I know that they're decent at games. Have a good amount of laurels here. I'll go 1.5. Like, you have some good laurels in the event. And then Peggy. Don't see any laurels, so default half a point. All right. Andy Lotto, third in Texas. Heck yeah. All right, Andy Lotto, third in Texas. Longtime GM, very good at the game. Current board member also. We definitely appreciate Andy's efforts. Andy won a lot early on, but has not won the event in recent years. But still has a lot of lifetime laurels, but hasn't done much since 2017. So this looks like a guy that was very good at the game early, but other people have kind of surpassed him on average. No laurels since 2017 definitely worries me. So I'll give him 1.5, because like definitely has won and proven the ability to win quite a bit in the past. And the event's huge though. I mean, it gives out a lot of points, but it doesn't quite hit the 128 mark. I'm only gonna go 1. Like no laurels since 2017 is a pretty like. That means you've had it multiple years of throwing zeros, so I can't go much higher, I don't think. Who else do we have? We have Alyssa. Okay, I don't know that I recognize their name on this list. Yeah. Defaulting to a half a point. Looks like Kyle Smith has chosen not to go third in Texas again, which is interesting, because third in Texas is part of what propelled him last year. All right, we have Ray Wolf at St. Petersburg. Ray is arguably the best St. Petersburg player, and recent times kind of carry this out. Ray Wolf has won multiple years. Ray Wolf has won a play-by-email event. Ray Wolf has the most lifetime laurels in St. Pete. He was still in the finals last year? No. Didn't actually make anything at WBC, though. Ray Wolf's very good at WBC, or very good at St. Petersburg, and St. Petersburg is updating the rules this year, which I think is going to help make it even more skill testing. So I think but there's also the quarterfinal, which could be a problem. Yeah, I don't know. Ray's really good. Really good at St. Pete's, and St. Pete's is going to pull at least 64 players. I'll give Ray 2.5, and I almost want to go 3, but I'll go 2.5. Anthony St. Petersburg. On the other hand, Anthony, I don't know has many laurels in this game. No laurels in this game. Half a point. The slander from Lumen is crazy. Definitely best at drawing a round 1 Mistress in finals. I mean, yeah, look, so like some of those wins involve Mistress in the finals, right? So like I agree, we can't go too much, but also like the guy has won the BPA play by email event, so like I don't know, like there's still luck to be had there too, but like the level of consistency Ray has displayed in St. Petersburg means that I believe he's been both lucky and good. I think he's been very good, and he's probably been a little lucky. So like 2.5 is maybe still higher than I should go. Maybe it should only be 2, but I don't know. I'm gonna go 2.5. I'm willing to go there. All right, Trisha Wolf. Trisha is pretty good at some games. I enjoyed playing in finals of 5 tribes with her last year. I don't know what SAG is. Should I know what SAG is, though? Sagrada. Oh, Sagrada. Wait a sec. I mean, I should know what it is based on the letters, but I also should not know what it is. I should stay away from Sagrada because it will drive me nuts to play Sagrada competitively. Playing Sagrada competitively seems like utter chaos to me. It seems way too luck-based, and based on the history of 3 years of Sagrada having... 18 different players, meaning literally nobody has repeated in Sagrada, kind of backs up my point of I don't think that you can consistently be good at Sagrada. So I'd love to be proven wrong on that, but unfortunately I am unwilling to do anything in Sagrada. This is a strong Sagrada hate and not anything about... I want to be super clear. This is a hate Sagrada, not questioning Trisha's ability in games. I am scared in every table that I have to face Trisha, but I believe 0 in somebody's ability to call their shot in Sagrada. No, I'm right. Yeah. Look, if the event has no repeat people at all in 3 years, and... from my experience of Sagrada, it's too lucky to bet on, and there's 100 and some people in the field. Yeah, I'm trusting nobody in the Sagrada field. I don't care if AJ threw Sagrada down. I'm giving people half a point at best in Sagrada. I'm sorry. I can't do it. Okay, I would like to finish rank 24, because this team is also pretty interesting to me. Anthony is calling a shot at Dune? Wait a sec, what? That is a Dune call from Anthony, is that not? That is amazing if so. Oh my god. I don't know. Has he played this game in the past? I don't think he has. Oh my god. I love this. I did not see this. So Anthony is very good at a lot of games. He has laurels all over the place. I don't know that he always like wins events, but he has laurels at a lot of events. And Dune has such a long history. It's such a fun, zany game, but it's very negotiation based. Like, there's definitely a lot of strategy and tactics too, but like, there's also a lot of like luck and negotiation type stuff. I love that he's calling his shot in Dune of all things, but it seems wild. I'll give him a 1 point based on like respecting his general gaming skill, but Dune also seems like a wild call. But again, I love it. I love that somebody is just calling their shot in Dune of all things. All right, Dominic is calling a shot at Agizia. That, on the other hand, just makes way more sense. Dominic is, I would argue, the best Agizia player. I mean, I guess AJ's up there, but... yeah, maybe Dominic's not the best, but Dominic has won before. Dominic's definitely been in the finals of some of these BPA events. Dominic has the most lifetime laurels in Agizia, so I mean, I guess we could argue the best. Now, you can see the top of the Agizia rankings, though, is like pretty close. Like, it's not really a pull-away win, but Dominic's good at Agizia, so... the event is probably over 64 people, so that helps the points. I'm gonna go 2.5 here. But yeah, it does look like this team. While I think it has a lot of strong gamers, I think they have a lot of tough events. I think it's hard to call your shot at Battle Line. I think 18xx is very hard to do well in. I suspect it's hard to show up in Dune, but we'll find out. Anybody else in Agizia before we finish? There is some other Agizia bets. Anthony Sasenti. Pretty good at Agizia, right? Yeah, pretty good at Agizia. Has not won the event, but has some results. I will go 1.5. Strong player, but tough field. Michael Swinson, very similar thing. Michael Swinson has more laurels, has done very well in the play-by-emails, hasn't actually won, but has won play-by-emails. I'll go 2. Again, the field in Agizia is just so hard. There's so many players in the in WBC, BPA that are very good at it, so. Do some push-ups. Oh my! All right, great. Thanks for redeeming the do some push-ups reward. Great. I don't always know why I keep this on, because some days I really don't want to, but here we are. All right. Anyhow, I think I am gonna wrap the stream, because I'm clearly not gonna get through all 60 teams here. So, yeah. Okay. I'm clearly not getting through all 62 teams. I will hopefully come back with a kind of summary video of the teams I'm actually submitting and why, but that wasn't on purpose. You know how it worked. Love the push-ups, though. Hey, yeah. So, Twitch, after you watch a channel for long enough, you win fictional channel points, and then you can spend them on channel rewards, if you're not familiar with Twitch. Some of my channel rewards are like, you can feed a treat to my dog. I'll get my dog on camera and give him a treat. That is probably the most redeemed one. HIKLJ loves to redeem the make me do push-ups one. Other people like to do the extended game with extend the stream with a dice game. So those are kind of fun. Oh, also making me say something nice about an opponent's game, that definitely gets redeemed. When I start ranting about people's bad moves, then they force me to say something nice about their game. That's actually quite fun. I like that one. The request I stream a game, admittedly, is kind of a phantom software. I believe I owe multiple people some streams. But, you know. Anyhow, yeah, it's good fun. But yeah, anyhow, I don't think I actually have enough. I don't think I can actually finish the stream. Although more of these teams are already finished than I think, because of the fact that I keep doing each game. God, I'm tempted to push through, but I don't think I can actually. I'm already a little over 2.5 hours into the stream. Yeah. I don't think it's smart for me to try to finish here. It's still going to take another, like, at the current pace, it's still going to take quite a while. So I'm going to cut it for now. I'm going to go walk my dog and stuff. But I'll probably still half do it. And honestly, probably in a few hours, I will wind up doing another, like, half-hour stream talking about my actual estimates and what the teams I'm going to send in are. But yeah, I mean, mostly it's looking kind of like what I expected. But there are a couple like things that actually stand out to me, and a couple things that mildly surprised me. So it'll be good to talk through that. But yeah, this has been fun. Thanks for those who've been hanging out. Thanks for the stream and the free info. Hey, yeah. Hey, Lumen, if I can help you get free, if you somehow get free admission because of this, I mean, great. Like, it'd be awesome. This is fun and silly side stuff, but I enjoy it. I just enjoy starting to talk about and thinking about WBC, and it excites me. And I honestly kind of enjoy going through these event reports too, and like catching up on like who's really good at various events and stuff. And being forced to look up some of the like wargaming stuff that I know less does also, yeah, kind of excite me. So I don't know. I've been having fun, but anyhow, yeah. This has been good. I will, see people later for streams. Maybe even play a game too. We'll see. I really have very little to do today, so we'll find out what I decide to do. for the rest of the day. But the stream's been fun. See people around. Looking forward to seeing everybody in a week or less than a week at WBC. Getting pumped for WBC. I got all my printing done too, and yeah, I got all my proxy cards for St. Petersburg cut out, so that was good. So yeah, I'm feeling fairly ready. I have my score sheets and stuff look good, so I'm really glad that I got that task out of the way though. But yeah, I think I'm like pretty prepared now too. Overall, I have like my schedule, I have the stuff to GM, so all of that's good. So anyhow, thanks all who have actually listened to me blab about a bunch of just WBC stuff for however long I have. And yeah, I'll see people around later. Bye.